Citizens of the community, my name is Matthew Mitchell, Fire Chief, Justin Community Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated, and Justin Fire Department. Just want to give you all a little spill about the fire department, about our organization, kind of brief overview of how we work, how we operate, and answer some questions that myself and my guys have seen on social media or asked in the community when they're out shopping, answering calls, whatever, to maybe bring you a little better light of how your fire department works. Like I said, our organization started as Justin Community Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated as a 501c3 back several years ago, back in the 60s. It has now grown to the board of directors has acknowledged that our growth is exceeding what that 501c3 can do. And we started what we have benchmarked now as a 10-year transition period 3 years ago to become Justin Fire Department, which is going to be paid full-time, fully operational by the city of Justin. Right now, the Justin Community Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated and Justin Fire Department, we cover 77 square miles. We provide fire, EMS, and rescue services for 77 square miles of southwestern Denton County. We provide that for the citizens of Justin, unincorporated Denton County, community of Dish, New Fairview, and part of ESD number 1, which is basically the west side of North Lake. Several people have asked, well, why does the city of Justin pay for all of that? Well, yes, they pay for part of that, but we do get funds from Denton County. We get fire and EMS pledge money, and then every call that we make out into the county, whether it be a fire or EMS transport, we get reimbursed per call for that incident. Plus, we have EMS billing to try to recover the cost of the ambulance, the supplies, stuff like that. As well as we contract with Dish and New Fairview and ESD number 1 for fees, basically a readiness fee to provide services for that area. Current staffing level, we staff 7 firefighters every day, 24/7. Where did our staffing come from? It started as a volunteer organization. Are we still a volunteer organization? Yes. We have paid full-time city employees, firefighter paramedics. We have part-time firefighter paramedics, and we still have volunteers. So we are a 3-way combination organization. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the volunteer organization, the leadership acknowledged that our call volume was getting way high. We needed to provide ALS ambulance service because at that point in time, the biggest thing that you can make and still can make a difference in somebody's life is EMS life-saving measures, correct? So they acknowledged the need to staff an ambulance. We started out 8 to 5, then we went to 6A to 6P, then we went to 24 hours a day, and now we have built a staffing model to 7 firefighter EMP, firefighter paramedics, 24 hours a day, plus 1 full-time assistant chief, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We staff 2 MICU capable ambulances, along with a 3-man engine company. Those medic companies, all those personnel, we call it the J-Town Shuffle, because just Monday, I believe it was, we had 4 incidents going on in this community at the same time, or in our fire district. 3 of them were within 2 square miles of right here. And this was all before 9 o'clock. So those guys might be going on a medical call, they might be hopping on a brush truck to go to a grass fire, they might be going on a structure fire, whatever the case may be. But our primary objective is to keep 2 MICU capable ambulances staffed 24/7. Where do we get station locations? Our entire business is driven by call volume and response times. That's what it comes down to. As this town grows, our area grows, we are going to need multiple fire stations just because we're already facing the traffic along 114 and 156. So it's taking a little bit longer to get down to the 114 corridor during rush hour traffic. Basically, 4 or 5 o'clock, it's hard to get through the intersection of 156 and 114, even with our lights and sirens on. That is what drives our needs. With the city worked with the fire department to perform a needs assessment. We took the call volume for the last 16 months, and we designated where our hot areas are in our fire district. That is what is the driving force of needing more stations, station location, more apparatus, so on and so forth. I think one of the other biggest questions was about the fire station that you see here in the proposed Proposition D was 38 firemen. Is there gonna be 38 firemen at that fire station at the same time? No. That's 10 people per shift, so times 3 shifts, because we operate an A, B, and C shift, so that's 30 firemen plus support staff, assistant chiefs, fire marshals, stuff like that. So, just want to bring several questions and kind of bring you a light of how we operate as a fire department to protect y'all in our community. Thanks, man.
Stick around, appreciate it, thank you. So in advance, we got some questions about the fire department. I promise we'll get to it. We're going to go through all of these, and then we'll get to the questions. And again, we'll go through the questions that have been asked. We'll get answers to those. We'll go through the questions that have been submitted when you got here. We'll go through those. And then we'll straight the crowd until y'all are exhausted of questions. So we promise we'll give everybody a chance. I want to talk a little bit about what led the council here. And I'm proud to serve with an amazing council. Everyone's got their different views and different points, and that makes us a very powerful council because we represent the voices of everybody. We didn't take putting a bond election together lightly. In fact, nobody wanted to really do it because, well, nobody wants a bond. I mean, it's an understanding of why it's needed, the data, the facts that drove it, and then we labored on the wording of what the bond was and even what the different buildings, could possibly be programmed as. I use the word programming. That's not a software term. In this case, it's a use term. It's what could possibly be in those buildings. So while I'm passionate, I need you all to understand it's illegal, and our bond council is here to keep me out of trouble, for us to advertise, promote, or advocate for any of the bonds. We're elected now in our elected status. Same thing with the city personnel, but we can walk away from here, and I become the dude that lives in Hardeman Estates, and I can tell you guys, really where I stand on things. If you all ask, I'm very, very open. My phone number is broadcasted across social media. That's my personal cell. But here, we're just facts. So let's talk about some facts. Let's talk about Snowmageddon. Let's talk about us sitting at home with no electricity. Let's talk about the fact that City Hall was closed because no one was here. Let's talk about there was no way. I came in here with Bill Lewis, a local electrician. We opened up that panel back there so we could kill the main breaker and wire a generator into this building. Couldn't do it. There's no main breaker in there. This building is, how many years old is this building? Does anybody know? Just Elementary School currently is over 30 years old. This building well outdates that. And no one knows. And for those that don't know, the Justin High School is here. It's a 3-story rock building, and you'll see remnants of it around the playground. There's rock structures out there that are part of that building. But we couldn't hook a generator in here. So there was no making a warming place. There was no way to harden this place so that people that come in here, they had no electricity. Any idea? This is a 1,000-year-old building. Oh, that's not a fact, sorry. But anyways, and so we didn't have that. One of the things you're going to find out about the programming, again, programming is the use. One of the things you're going to hear about when we talk about the programming of each of the items, the library and civic center community building here will have a gym at the other end that will be hardened. It'll be hardened for tornadoes. It could be. I mean, this is one of the programming. It'll be set up for storms. It'll have a way to hook a generator in it. A generator will be part of the deal. That's part of the possible programming. So we have a place for Jennifer Green to make stew for us all and have coffee and oatmeal down here. We kind of drove that around the back of our pickup trucks. During Snowmageddon, the community came together. Some amazing people came out of the woodwork. We'll have a place to do that so people can come here and set up a cot or whatever we need to keep people safe. This is your building. This is your facility. This is what keeps the community alive in Old Town as we grow some of the stuff south in the new Justin Town Center. This is a unity community. This is very much, this is the neighbors of Justin, Texas. So that's kind of something that when I was looking at the bonds, I was paying attention to. The City Hall building, gives us an opportunity, and again, I'll read through each of these, but it gives us an opportunity to walk up to a window possibly and talk to a representative from the police department, and then step in a quiet room where we're not talking about our thing in the hallway with someone paying their water bill. It gives us some privacy. It gives us access to police department, during working hours, and helps us give better service. That's something we need. Gives us a place to meet, when we're not maybe town hall size and stuff along those lines. So these are some of the programming and some of the things your council, looked at when we're trying to decide, do we support or just do we work on the wording of these bonds? See, I was careful. All right. So let's talk about the potential programming. City Hall. Again, programming is used. It's not software. The current building does not have emergency power. There's no way to wire, I may have answered all these in my speech, but there's no way to wire a generator into this building. The city does not have a hardened facility to house an emergency operations center to provide continuity of services. There's inefficient space with a high loss factor due to historical nature and original design and intended use as a hotel.
Oh, my mistake. School.
Huh. Weird. as a school. See, I read well. I failed a test apparently. Lack of natural lighting for interior spaces due to exterior offices, and then the absence of a central gathering place for employees or ad hoc repurposing of spaces not originally intended for offices. So you'll find that in this building currently, we've divided offices, multiple ways. We have to walk through offices to get into your office. We're doing our very best in this building. Council chambers is undersized for large public audiences and overflow onto a mezzanine with a TV broadcast is required because there's a 40-second delay on those broadcasts. I actually witnessed that we were streaming live, and I'm trying to watch it while I'm talking, and I'm talking after I've already said the thing, and I can't fix it. Anyways, wayfinding can be time-consuming, confusing, here, so it presents some security risks. A modern city hall complex would have key space types that are missing from the current design due to various constraints and limitations. The central conference center used by all departments, including large training event rooms. Designated spaces for safety meetings with constituents and members of the public. Central employee hub with a kitchen, break areas, and connection space for more interactions. Collaboration rooms, just-in-time spaces for smaller informal meetings. There's many meetings that take place at the City Hall. Public engagement space to draw visitors to the buildings for reasons other than official business. On-site parking for employees and visitors. We have very limited today for those that came out to the National Night Out. We're parking up and down all the neighborhood streets around here. Just limited parking currently with this space. A modern, larger council chambers with updated technology, security features, and adequate breakout and supporting spaces, and a purposely designated customer service counter for the departments that are co-located. I'd like to, at this point, to answer some questions that may exist, have the chief come up here. He didn't get prepared for this, but if Chief Frida, if you'll come up here, I'd like to discuss just a little bit about City Hall and maybe some security situations here versus some of the things that we absolutely desperately need, which would be part of the programming possibly for the new City Hall. So, for those that don't know, this is Brian Frida. He is our current police chief. Oh, nice.
What would you like me to speak to?
Just speak about security and the things you've identified in your short time here when it comes to police department in this building, and what we need perhaps for future for a better use.
Okay. Well, where do I begin?
And I surprised them, by the way.
The front door, the back door, the side doors, even through right here, if you are able to we're limited in staffing. We may have one person, two people on the street. If they're on a particular call, let's say south end of town, it's a perfect opportunity to break these windows. These are single pane windows on either side, gain access, you're in the building. Once you're in the main hallway there, yes, there's a mag strip door that you have to have a proximity card, and I left mine up there, that will unlock and allow you into the secured point of City Hall. Well, the problem is that there's no construction above those drop ceilings in there. So once you're in this facility, you have total access to the entire City Hall, including.
That's a secret.
Well, I mean, we're working on remedying that as we speak, because that's when I showed up about 7 weeks ago, I about had a coronary when I walked and saw that there was nothing from the ceiling line up to the roof line between my evidence room and the hallway in City Hall. That's a huge problem. People go to jail for that. Things start disappearing out of your evidence room, and I've survived 38 years in law enforcement without having somebody putting the bracelets on me and taking me to jail, and I'd just soon keep it that way. But what I found is that it's outlived its purposeful use. We're beyond that. Yes, we can spend, and I've built 2 police departments in the last 38 years, and I helped build the Texas Police Chiefs Association's office in Elgin, Texas. So I've had to deal with these things several times over. And so that while we can go in, and we looked at this on several occasions, I like history, I like old buildings, I just love them. The problem is, you go in and you spend more money per square foot in remodeling, and at the end of the day, you still have no building. The wiring isn't getting any cheaper. You've got to pay to have it removed, then reinstall, and then all the other things, because you got to bring it to code, because you're doing enough work that everything's got to be brought to new code. So every square foot of this inch of this building would be a complete remodel and have to be brought to code. And so you got to pull stuff out, put stuff in, and it's going to actually cost you more in the long run. With the police department in the back, we are behind the secure point. So when folks come to see us about needing to file a report, many times folks are coming to see us and they're embarrassed. They don't like that they're having to come to somebody and talk about something that is very uncomfortable. And so we are out of spaces. If somebody's already got the conference room booked, we really don't have any place to take them, because we can't take them into our office because we have what's called CJIS data, various reports, criminal history returns, other people's statements. All those things are CJIS data, and nobody can see those. We moved some things around so that when you walk around this evening, we've taken care of that, so you will be allowed to walk through the PD and by the evidence room, because I've already had the officers secure that data. Because if we don't, and DPS and the Rangers find out about it, we get in trouble big time. They have no sense of humor. What other security? We have no backup power. We have no interview rooms. Those interviews now have to be recorded. So we have to make do with the body cameras we have when they work. Let's see. Oh, yes. We cannot hold a juvenile in this building, anywhere in this building. I have scoured it from one end to the other, and I've looked on the ceilings and on the floor. There is nothing from the juvenile authority in Denton County that allows us to hold any juveniles in this building. We're not going to violate that juvenile's rights. We're not going to compromise you to litigation. We're going to do our dead level best to prevent any of that. So, let's see what else.
Currently, if someone is apprehended at the evening time for DWI, what do we have to do?
Oh, good Lord. This is a little bit new for me, okay? The biggest city that I was the chief of police in was Sweetwater. And then I worked up in the Panhandle in a city called Borger, up north of Amarillo. We all had jails right there with us, so I didn't have to worry about transporting anywhere. Well, here, you don't have that luxury. Everybody that is arrested here, whether it's for an outstanding warrant, DWI, domestic violence, assault, or whatever, we have to hook them up, and we don't have the means by which to do any of the paperwork prior to getting to the jail. And we go to Denton County. And if we happen to show up a few minutes late and Louisville shows up with one of their buses, my brother picked the wrong time to call. our officers are gonna be tied up there for about 2.5 to 3 hours. And if the other officer that's on duty happens to catch another one and has to hook them up and go to Denton County, the city is completely unoccupied, unmanned, unstaffed for up to 6 hours.
And who supports us?
If they're available, we will get Denco or Denton County Sheriff's Office will back us up. If North Lake's not tied up on calls, they have come over before and helped. If you might be able to, it might be 2 hours or so before Fort Worth PD can show up. So one of the things we need to look at is holding facilities. Much like North Lake has, Louisville has, and several others, you can house them in there, but you have to have a means by which to watch them while they're in there until at a certain point of the shift. Then you load them all up in one vehicle or whatever, and you transport them and book them all at one time. And then you only have one person out of pocket. So there's a lot of things going on there. We're looking at accreditation for this department. Texas Police Chiefs Association is the accrediting agency in the state of Texas, and we're recognized by the federal government as well as the state government. It's coming. It's about to be made mandatory. It was held hostage by Governor Abbott for some of the school bill legislation. Well, that stuff is being passed in the special session. Some of it has been done. So mandatory accreditation is coming for law enforcement in Texas. So I'm on that committee with the Chiefs Association. I've taken 2 through that. This building will not pass accreditation. I can already tell you. I've done the on-site for Keller. I've done the on-site for Roanoke. I've done the on-site for, Oak Hill?
Yeah, okay.
Oak Hill, south of Dallas. I've done several on-sites in the area. And I have a friend of mine that lives in Robson Ranch out here. Robeson Ranch, sorry.
He's new.
I'm new here. I'm from West Texas, y'all. But anyway, he lives out there and he is the lead on accreditation for the state of Texas. And he's already offered up his services since he lives just right here by us to walk us through and make sure everything we do is up to snuff and up to speed. But our facilities are not gonna make it.
Thank you, Chief, I appreciate it. Thank you, Councilman. So just so you know, those are the type of programming things we're looking at when it comes to this, the police department administrative building, aka City Hall. I think it's important to understand that there's some things on here, it was pointed out to me that I missed. The current building lacks adequate parking for visitors and employees for the police department. It doesn't have adequate space for emerging transit law enforcement technology. And the current building lacks space to properly train officers in contemporary police training methods. There's no training room, which provides a continuous challenge. So that's Proposition A on that building. A little bit more on that. Justin Town Center. What is Justin Town Center? Justin Town Center is businesses. If you'll look at North Lake's little community where the 7-Eleven is, or the cafe, all those bills are put in there, the police department, by this company called Office Equity Solutions. Office Equity Solutions purchased 18 of the 36 acres. We purchased 18. It is now Justin Town Center. They are partnering with us. A lot of the dirt work you've seen done was done by them in partnership with the city. We're already pretty invested in the roads and everything down there because this is part of the plan for Justin. The town hall down there is a city anchor, which in effect has the possibility of driving business, the type of businesses we want down there. But I know the things I hear is not another dentist, no storage unit, but we're looking at 24-hour clinic possibly down there. So we have emergency medical, someplace for the fire department to take people possibly. It's stuff along those lines. It's restaurants, it's a place for you. Oh, I'm eating the mic. It's my bad. I didn't eat dinner yet, but so it's also it's a place to have coffee and pie at 10 o'clock at night. That's not the honky tonk. It gives us a little bit of a well-rounded thing. The city hall down there is quite possibly kind of the way people may look at it as the city of Justin investing in itself So they're gonna invest in Justin. So that's one reason, you know, that Proposition A is there. Proposition B. Proposition B is this building. Sorry. I probably should take this microphone away from me. Proposition B is the building we're in. It's expanding the library. It's adding a gym at the other end that's hardened. It's redoing this gym. It's fixing, you know, the rooms behind here where you know, there's actually locker rooms behind us. They're full of files. And I'm pretty sure you can walk right through the metal wall behind that. You can see through it on the outside. It's just rusted through. So it's refurbing this building. It's adding some sound dampening so we can, you know, utilize the office on the other side when people are playing basketball in here. And on the other side, it's growing the library. Let's talk about the library. Let me look at my list that was provided for me.